There we go.
Okay, so in true academic style, I had no idea what a Kucha was, so I googled it and I found these fantastic images. And my slides will be timed 20 seconds each, and I'll speak for hopefully around 6 minutes. So what PetchaFlickr does was synchronise to your images on the Flickr account. So I've tagged a load of my images around open education with OENTF 14pf. So it's reading those tags, but what I've done for purposes of it working today is put it in a PowerPoint. So it's just going to flick through on the PowerPoint. But PetchaFlickr is great if you have to do these kind of things again. So open education resources, I'm sure I'm preaching to the converted, form a wide spectrum of learning materials, resources, assessment materials that are openly licensed or free, to maybe ones that are not openly licensed, maybe behind a paywall or some kind of barrier. So I should talk about open educational resources, and I wouldn't be standing here if I hadn't had amazing funding from the UK Open Education Resource Programme, which was managed by the GISC and the Higher Education Academy, and I had funding for 3 years to support open education resources in science. So I was very blessed. And take away one thing is go to the GISC OER info kit if you want to find all its stuff, and the great stuff. This picture is a mad cartoon by amazing person called Julia Forsyth in the States, and she talks about open education resources as Lego blocks, which indeed they are, but actually it's what goes around it. It's the practice, it's the global communities, it's the sharing, it's linking with employers, students, and this is just an example of one of the De Montfort students who was so inspired by a project around the human body. He was an art student, and he came and said, "Can I do my final year dissertation by producing some images and some artwork?" And Jacob Escott, he's gone on to set up his own medical illustration company. This was another of the projects. It was working this time with the Leicester Well Infirmary, one of the hospitals, talking about sickle cell disease. And just illustrating there that some of these resources now fired out on blogs and on YouTube have been translated into various Brazilian languages and various Nigerian dialects as well. And I feel very guilty because over dinner someone said last night that there was a delegate that didn't have a hotel room, and I thought, well, I've just pitched up Sunday just to see if I could stay overnight. And I have a feeling I've stolen someone's room. I feel really bad about that. If there's any consolation, that was a view from my room. Okay, so I hope you're not too irked about that. This was just another resource, so we thought, well, I can't be bothered making resources. Let's get students to be making stuff for us. So we had microbiology students making bioscience resources, and this is just an animation someone made about the autoclave, which is a scary piece of equipment for sterilising microbiology resources. Just to take that a bit further, we thought, well, why should the institution be making resources? Let's get people in the hospital to, and people come on board with open education so much. We had no opposition. People were fighting to give us parasitology images, histology images, and we've got a big blood gas analyzer piece of equipment from the Leicester Well Infirmary there. And we had a really lovely talk yesterday from Ian, didn't we, about technology wiping us all out. But actually these are tweets from the Open Education Resource Conference going on right now in Newcastle, and I just like that top one from Jonathan Worth there. Teaching isn't about the information, it's about us creating that context and that meaning, so we're not going to be out of jobs, not just yet anyway. This just illustrates another thing that we could do as part of our NTF blog, is put in, maybe not videos from me, but better videos on a YouTube channel, and we've got Annette and her Genie group at Leicester that have done this brilliant one. Some of their YouTube videos have gone viral. It's a very quick and sustainable way of reaching global audiences. This just illustrates some of the crazy stuff that the DS106 community, open learning community, get up to. And this is Jim Groom, he's the godfather of DS106 from Mary Washington, what he does know about technology, innovations and students and worth knowing. And that's what one of his students did to him, and that's probably kind. I did a workshop with staff a few weeks ago about open education, and they sat there and thought, we don't need to be bothered with that, but actually they do need to be bothered with this, and this is the concept that the next bunch of ref outputs should be, will need to be published in open access journals, and a lot of funding is now requiring our data to go open too, so that has big connotations. And the second thing, if you wanted to go and look up anything, would be find out more about Creative Commons if you don't already. We have a series of open licenses we can put on our work to share it, which then signpost students to free and fabulous learning resources that they can use. just expanding on the nuttiness of DS106. Colin, the dog here, is an active participant. He's had radio shows, he's produced videos, and there are dolls and other mad things going on. It's great to be able to assume a different personality and just get out to mad stuff. So Colin does that all the time. So again, linking into conversations that are going on way past just the HA funding stock is the really vibrant UK OER community. So you can look for them on Twitter under the hashtag UK OER if you want to, or join the GIST mailing list if you want another mailing list, which you might not. And as for me, that's kind of some of the other stuff I get up to. So I've learned an awful lot about photography. I produce sound and music and animations and other things. I wouldn't have done that if it wasn't for DS106 and just going home with a cup of tea and just doing something different. That's probably more of my life than my work life is. And this is probably a final slide to finish on. It's a moral for any conference organiser. We had a lovely, fantastic quiz and a great evening last night. But this is what happened in Newcastle. This is what happens if you give a bunch of academics lots of free red wine and Legos. So there's a moral for everyone there. And I think that's me. Thank you.
Good to see how you can squeeze 17 slides into 16.
And you're right, it was absolutely terrifying.